Hi guys. Okay, so today I'm finally getting around to making the beginning to end or start to finish junk journal. This is going to be a very simple junk journal. It's not going to be one of the more like elaborate. This is just for beginners that maybe have not made one before, or they just want to see like a different take. I know there's a lot of videos out there that have, you know, lots of ways to do this, and this is just one of the ways that I do it. And I had a few people that asked for this video in particular, so this is what I'm going to do. It's just going to be a one signature, very simple video. I think I may end up having to do it in 2 parts though, because actually putting the the main book together, the journal together with all the pages sewn in and everything, and then also adding all of the pockets and flips and tucks and all of that stuff, it will run very long if I try to do it in one video. So I'm thinking that's what I might do. Well, I'll just have to see kind of how it goes. And again, I'm still kind of getting over a cough. So I have a glass of tea here that will, you know, hopefully kind of help with that. So please excuse me if I need to stop and cough for a second. I'm going to try to get through this without that. So first off, let me just kind of jump right in and show y'all what I'm doing here. So I'm just taking one of these manila envelopes. You can get a pack of these at the dollar store, 99-cent store. That's where I get mine from. It's the cheapest place for me to find them. So I've got one of these here. And you can make this, a lot of times I make this into a pocket and I leave this open in my journals, but just for like the simplicity of it, I'm going to go ahead and close this up. This will not be a pocket. This is just going to be a, you know, I'm going to try to make this as simple as I can, quick, easy, so that way anybody can do this. First, let me show you what all of this stuff here is. I picked a paper from one of my paper pads. I believe this is the Prima Misty Rose. I thought this would be really cute for the cover. Like Mother's Day's coming up, so this would be a really cute little project you could do that's, you know, simple and easy, that you could give to, you know, someone that you want to give a Mother's Day present to or something like that. So I have these 2 pages are going to be, this will be the cover and this will be like the inside. And this stuff, I've just kind of gathered a few things that I normally would throw in to my junk journals. This is just a dictionary page. This is one of those little packs you get for, I get these for my kids, and it comes with stickers and coloring pages and crayons. These are one of my favorite things to put into journals because it has the little closable side here. And this part here is where I like to put extra washi because it comes on and off really easy. So I like to have one of those in pretty much all of my journals. I have an envelope because I like to put this in the middle of the signature and sew it in, so that way it hides the string that you're going to sew it together, and it's dual purpose because you can use it as an envelope also. And I have just a few little of these little papers, pharmacy bag. This one's just a little bag, piece of cardstock. And I'll show y'all what I'm going to do with this. This will actually turn into 2 tags. Another little envelope thing I found. Just a tea-dyed piece of paper. Another bag. This is actually a calendar page. And I like to put these in. They're so pretty and colorful. And you can also make these into either a top loading pocket or a side loading. A piece of fabric that I found. I like to add things like that in there. A music sheet. This is a paper from a children's book. This here is from a really old magazine. I cannot remember the name of the magazine. And I love working with this. This is like a burlap sheet, and you can actually put this in your printer and print an image on here. I have a book I can show y'all where I printed off an image on to that. And then also, I will be adding in some tea and coffee dye papers. And I have like this box that I picked up from a thrift store. And I just put all of my tea and coffee stained items in here. And whenever I do coffee and tea staining, I just do a ton of it at one time. So I have like a lot to choose from. So that is what I'm going to do now. I will just pick a few pieces out of here. I'll put one of those in there. One of those in there. I just kind of grab one of each, and I put them in different little sections of, like this is the graph paper. So that way I can just kind of pull what I want from that stack, and I don't have to dig through every single paper trying to find, you know, what I want. And here's some that I had done, like pre-punched a couple of pages. So I think I might add one of those. I'm just grabbing a couple of each, so that way I can add them in. If I don't want to put them in, then I don't necessarily have to. I wanted another one that's not like that one though. Let's see, this one's a thick one. Let's see if I can get this one out of here without pulling everything apart. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That'll work for me. And I wanted to show this really quick. If you don't want to spend time doing all of this, or if it's just not something that, you know, like some people don't like to do this and they feel like it's a waste of time. So I actually found this on Amazon, and it has like a bunch of different styles. Let me see if I can actually flip through this for y'all. There's like different style of paper that it's like old paper, you know, it looks like it's old paper, stained paper. So there's quite a few different pages in here, and you get a pretty good stack of these for fairly cheap. So if that's something that you're interested in, you know, you can look on there, and you can use these instead of having to dye your own pages. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I ordered those just to kind of check it out and see how they would come out. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is start building my signature. My signatures usually end up being pretty thick. I always try to get it to where it's not so thick, but it's just what happens. It's just what I do. I'm not sure why I have a problem with that. They're always very thick and chunky, and so I really need to probably try to work on that. So what I do is I just start folding everything in half. And it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Just kind of fold. And fold these over. And it's really up to you how many pages you want to add in and, you know, what stuff you want to put in. It doesn't have to be, you know, any certain order or anything like that. That's what I love about making junk journals is, like, it's your rules. Whatever you want to do, that's what you do. You're the boss when it comes to making the junk journal. You're the one in charge. So whatever your imagination allows you to do, then that's what you do. So once I get kind of my base, like I would call this my base pages, then I start adding in all of like the other pages. And I'm actually going to separate these two because they're very close. They're very similar. So I have my like base start here. And then what I'm going to do from there is start adding in all of the extras that I've pulled out that I want to put in. And just kind of mix them, you know, through there. So I'm going to open this up and just start kind of randomly putting in all the pages. And this one here, it seemed a little long, so I'm just going to fold that over. I'm not even really going to cut it or mess with that. I just don't really feel a need of doing that. So I just pick a spot in here and pop it in, just to kind of randomly put pages kind of all over the place and slowly, you know, build up what you want in here. And I'm going to throw the fabric piece in here. And some of the smaller pieces, like these are going to be, it's not like the full size. I try to stagger those in the signature. So that way I don't have just all of them, you know, because it'll make it really thick. So I know that I want the envelope here in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and put the envelope in the middle. Let me see. How do I have this like upside down? Okay, so the envelope will go in. It's already getting chunky. So the envelope will go in like this, and I will sew it in right here. And then I'll glue the envelope up like that, and it will hide the wax thread, and then I can have this little envelope here. So that will go like that. And I like to add these little pieces in. It's just something that I like to do. So let's see, let me flip back and see what all I've got so far. Let's see, let's add in something here. Maybe we can add in this little envelope in right here. And I can put the little card stock paper, and I'm going to put this one kind of down low. And I want to add this. It is just really pretty. I really like this one. So I'm just going to kind of flip through, and this looks like a good spot to me. And I'm going to go kind of high with this one. And it's not going to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect up and down and all of that kind of thing. Okay, so I have this one here. Let's see where we're at. So we have this one and this one and this one and this one. Maybe right here looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this one in right there. And I'm not worried that it's Christmas because I will be covering this up. You can also just leave it as Christmas if you want. That is totally your preference. You can do it however you would want. So let's put something here. Actually, because that's brown and brown, maybe I will put this one here. And then I can add in this one here. So let's see how we're getting now. We're getting pretty chunky. Yeah, this one's gonna be my big chunky again because I know that I want to add the doily for sure. So I will be adding the doily. Where should I add the doily? Maybe right here. So I'll just stick this in right there. And this kind of looks like, oh, this is going to be, you know, too much like brown. But again, I'm going to be adding more pages and making this into pocket. There's going to be pages added here that's going to be a pocket. So I'm not worried too much about that. So it'll work out fine. I did find another page that I had left over from another project that I did. And of course it has butterflies. I love butterflies. So I have to add butterflies. Pretty much every project that I do has to have some kind of butterflies in it. And this one kind of gives some, you know, stability to the whole thing here. So that's what I will be doing. I'm not sure if I'm going to add all of these things. I may not. I just need to kind of flip through again and see where I'm at. So I feel like I can probably add another little one here, or so I can put this page in here, or I can put this page in here. I like to have some little ones like this in there, just to kind of stick them in there. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking this one for right now. So I'll just slide that in like that. And this is the dictionary page. And one thing I just wanted to mention really quick with the dictionary pages, or really any pages that you put in here, you want to read what page you're pulling out, just to be on the safe side, that you don't have something in there that might offend someone, you know, or have like some words in there that's not good words. So you definitely want to make sure that, you know, you have something in there that's not going to possibly create embarrassment for yourself once you give this as a gift. So that has happened a few times to some wonderful ladies that I know. Okay, so I think I may stop it here. And I'm going to save all of these pieces because I will be adding these in later. Like this will be a flip down of some sort. So I'm not going to get rid of these. I just feel like I'm getting a little too chunky, and I still have to add in a lot of embellishments and pockets and stuff. So I think that I'm going to stop here. And I'm pretty happy with this. This is coming along pretty good. Okay, so I know now what I'm going to put in the journal. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm just going to clip this so I can keep it together and I know how I want it. So I'm going to clip this, put this to the side, and start working on the cover. So I'm going to put this on the front. And I'm going to do a raw edge. A raw edge is where you don't wrap, like, because you can get a bigger sheet and, you know, fold over and wrap the edges. I do that sometimes, but I just find it that I really like the raw edge better. A lot of times I like to use my little, the Tim Holtz, I'm not sure what the name is right now, but you can take it and like shred the edges, you know, and rough it up and make it look kind of old. So I like to do that. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just slightly measure. Again, this does not have to be perfect. Just kind of put it on here where you think like it'll cover everything. And I'm going to grab a pencil and just mark it off. So that's where I will cut that off. That'll be for the front. This will be for the inside. So I'm going to do this again, just kind of line this up. Mark it off where I need to cut it. So I will cut those two out really quick. Let me grab my cutter. Yep, that's right. Just line this up. And I will save that piece and use it later for something. These are some really nice size scraps, so I do not want to waste them. They can definitely be used for something else. Okay, so now that I have my front and back, actually what I'm gonna do so I don't forget, I'm gonna go ahead and glue this down so that I don't forget that I'm not gonna make this a pocket. And you could probably just wet this because it has glue already on here. I'm just kind of picky with stuff like that. I'd just rather glue it. Just make sure it's glued pretty good so that it doesn't pop open or anything on you. And I'm going to add just a little around there. Okay. Need to remember to put this in here. I keep losing this thing. I need to make me one of those little tassel things like I see everyone. They have the little, I'm not sure what they're called, but it's some kind of tassel thing so that you don't lose your pen. I really need to figure out how to make one of those. How does this go now? I don't remember how this goes. Okay, it goes like this. Before I put this on here, just to add some stability to the spine, I use this Tyvek tape. I bought this at Lowe's, and it's like, it's tape that is used for building houses, like putting siding and stuff on homes. And it's really good. It's just like the envelopes that you get, the tie back envelopes you can get at the post office. It's similar to the same thing as that, but it's a tape. So I feel like it's better to just use it, you know, like this, instead of waiting until I get some tie back in the mail, and, you know, or you can go online and order tie back sheets. But to me, this is just a simpler way to do it. And it just gives like some strength to your spine. So this is what I am going to do. Just going to lay a little bit down on here. And this just helps it. Oh, there we go. I'm going to do this to both sides. Okay, that one, I need to do a little corner flip so I'll be able to pull it up easy next time. And I went a little over, so let me trim that slightly. Okay. I've been waiting so long to get this video going, and it has just been like one thing after another coming up, and with the holidays and everything. And then literally the day before Easter, my son got sick, and then I got sick, and then when we were getting over it, my daughter got sick, and then we kind of like got it again. So it was like circling around, and that was not fun. So I've kind of had to put things on a back burner, and I wasn't really able to do a whole lot of recording, and I've been really excited to do this this series here. Like I want to start with like the, you know, the simple one and work my way up and show y'all how I do the more, you know, in-depth ones. So I've been really excited to get this started. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just glue this down, and then I'm going to glue this one down. I need to make sure they are all upright and in the right directions. So I will start with this one first. Oh, actually, I almost forgot a step. And you know what? I'll do it on the inside. That's what I'll do. Okay. So you just kind of basically line this up. And if the little sticks out, no big deal. Like, that's why they're called junk journals. And it's a handmade product. So, you know, it's not like, you know, a machine made this. So that's like part of, you know, that's what I love about handmade items. It's the little flaws that make it the best. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of the Fabri. This is one of my favorites for putting on covers and stuff like that. It holds really well, and it holds really good over this tie back. So And it gives you a little wiggle room. So if you do, you know, mess up something, you can take it off and start over. You know, it gives you a little bit of time to work with it. So that's another plus with this, is that it's forgiving for your mistakes. And I usually don't get anything on here right, you know, within the first try. So this is not one to come out so good. I've got to hurry. It doesn't dry really fast, but I mean, if you take too long, it will start drying up a little bit on you. So you don't have to like be in a super hurry, but you don't want to take too long either. And I'm having trouble getting this out for some reason. It's not wanting to come out right. I don't know what's going on. It might be time for a new bottle. Okay, so this looks good for now. I'm just gonna go with it. Put my lid on so that it doesn't get all crazy on me. Okay, so I'm just gonna match up the bottom corners and the top, and then just kind of push it. And that will kind of help a little bit for it to get straightened out on here. And you can use a bone folder, your hands, or anything to kind of push it down. I recently got one of these Recollections sprayers. I haven't had one of these before, but I just didn't want to spend the money on it. But I'm actually glad I did. This has actually made a difference in spreading out the glue underneath and making sure that everything is even. So I have been liking it. I'm glad that I actually did buy it. I've been wanting one for a while. I just didn't want to pay the money for it. So I waited until I had a coupon for Michael's and I used it. So that way it wasn't really that bad. It was just a couple bucks. Okay, so one side down, and you want to just slowly kind of work this over. You don't want to just, you know, start bending it over like crazy. You want to slowly kind of just pull it around a little bit. And I don't really flatten it the entire way. So now this one will go on the inside. This is right side and this is right side. So I will do the same thing on this side, except for I'm going to use some seam binding for my closure. So I need to go ahead and put that in before I glue down. If I can find an end. Where is the end? There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna put the end. Oh, come on. I've lost the end again. There we go. So I'm going to glue in a piece here before I glue this down. And I'm just going to come in the middle and put it a good amount so that way it will hold pretty good there. And just lay this down right there, because this will be my closure. So now I will glue this down on here like this. hopefully this glue will work a little better this time. It is not really wanting to come out. I think these are really such a cute idea for a quick gift for someone. You don't have to necessarily make these into like just a journal. They don't have to be just for journaling. They can be used for, you know, to put pictures and memories. I have a few that I've made for different trips that we've taken, like a little vacation memory album, just to put pictures and, you know, stuff like that to remember certain vacations and stuff like that. It's kind of like a little photo album, but a vacation photo album. Or you can do like a birthday one. And for all ages too. I made my niece one. She has a Bible journal that I made her, and she absolutely loves it. So you can do it for all ages because she's a teen. And I think a lot of people have the misconception that teenagers wouldn't necessarily, you know, like a journal like these, but they do. Well, at least, you know, my nieces, they do. They like them. Okay, so I'm going to just try to get this on here. It's not going to be 100% perfect. Again, I'm not going for perfect here. Just kind of smush it down to get the glue everywhere. And you do want to let it kind of dry for a minute before you start, you know, bending and trying to do stuff, because it can buckle, as you see there. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it'll kind of buckle. So you want to give it plenty of time to dry, which is, you're not going to have to sit and just wait for it to dry, because there's going to be other things that you need to do before you mess with this again, like getting the signature ready to be sewn in. So it'll have plenty of time to dry. And this here for the closure, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just slightly try to give a little guess of how much I'm going to need, and then kind of go over a little more with it. So I'm just going to cut a little off there and put this back in here. Okay, so while this is drying, and kind of just let it set, the next thing I'm going to do is get the signature ready. And what I have is some of this, I got this at Hobby Lobby, and it's like wax thread. I really like to use this wax thread, and I always cover the outsides of the spine, like on this part. You're going to be able to see this thread through here, and I mean, if you like that, then that's fine. And this kind of this color goes with a lot of different patterns, so it's fine. But I usually put lace or something over it, so I'm not worried about the color. And there was, I mean, this has been, I've been using this stuff for a long time, and it's like not even put a dent in it. So this stuff is pretty good, and it's very strong. So I have this needle here, and it's, you know, it's not like a great big, huge needle, but it's a pretty good size needle. And it's not like one of them sharp needles, but it's sharp enough to go through the papers. And what I have, I use this template for just about all of my books that I make. So I use this one over and over. And the way that I made it was, I went with my standard, like this is about the standard size that I usually make. And so what I did was I just kind of measured off. I started off like in the middle and put a hole, and then I went out, I think what is that, like 2 inches, and then just a little bit before the bottom. And it works out perfect. And it also works out for the smaller journals, because then I can just use these 3 right here, and it usually covers, you know, anything in here. But because I like to add in little pieces, like these little ones in here a lot, I like to have the 5-hole just so that I know for sure if I have one at the top and one at the bottom, then I know that they're all going to be covered and secured. And instead of, like, if this one was at the bottom, or, okay, like if this one was in here and it's at the top, it's going to have these 2 holes, but it doesn't have any of the others. So I just feel more comfortable having 5 holes in most of all of the journals that I do, except for if it's a smaller one, then I'll use just the 3, but I still use this same template pretty much for everything that I make, unless I'm in a super big hurry and I just don't really want to fuss with it, then I won't. And I have this here. I received a package in the mail, and this is one of them really thick ones. It has the bubble wrap inside of it, and I even have a couple of pieces of cardstock under there. And I use this to poke my holes. I will show y'all in just a second. So we're gonna find the middle. Let me actually move that so that I can get this set up here. I have a couple of clips and stuff that I'm gonna try to keep this all in line. This is the only tricky part that I am not fond of. It's not hard, it's just I'm not fond of this part. And if it wasn't so thick, you could actually just put all of these clips on it and literally run this part through your sewing machine. I will show y'all another way to do that, like actually set it up on the sewing machine and do it, and that is probably my favorite way to do it. But you would have to do like a couple of signatures that are smaller to be able to do that, so that you don't tear your sewing machine up. But I have done that a few times. It does work. It's very simple. It is really easy. So that's probably my favorite way to do it. But this is way too thick. So I cannot put this into my sewing machine. It would really just mess it up. So I'm just going to put some of these big clips on here to kind of keep everything in order, which, I mean, it's not like it's going to be in perfect order, but that's okay. Just throw a couple of these on here, and it kind of keeps it all together. And what I'm looking for here is to make sure that, like, all of the bends are all in line. Now some may get off, and that's okay. If it does get off a little bit, it's okay. It's not gonna be the end of the world if it's not all even. Like, you can already tell some of mine are not even, but that's perfectly fine. You can actually fix that later if that's something that bothers you. It's fixable. So this isn't something that is, you know, going to ruin it completely if it's not exactly lined up. So what I will do next is I will put my template. Let me make sure my top and bottom. I think this was going to be my top. Yes. So I'll put my template to the top, and I will try to line this up as good as I can to the middle. Try to make sure it's set in the middle here. And use my little pokey tool and just poke holes all the way through. Actually, this one doesn't feel like it's went all the way through. Need a little more on this one. Okay, and the last one. Poke it through. And I'm gonna hold this kind of tight on here and just look underneath and make sure that I have holes showing all the way through. Okay, so I have all of my holes, and I slightly got off the middle of this one, but that's fine. Again, not the end of the world. It is fixable. Okay, so the next part will be to actually put this on the book and kind of line it up where you want it to be. And it kind of hangs over a little bit. I actually like that. Some people do not. If you do not like that, where it kind of hangs over a little bit, you can trim that down, no problem, with some scissors, and just, you know, like make it to where it's flat and it's even with the edge of your cover. So I'm not going to do that because I actually like the hangover. So I'm going to leave that just like that. So now what I'm going to do is push this down as good as I can. Make sure it is snug in there and lined up, you know, as good as I want it to be. I feel like it needs to come up a little bit. Okay, so about right there feels good. And I'm going to open one side, and I'm going to remove one of these clips and just add in, well, if I can, I can't push it in there. Add it to the cover. And I will do this side. You don't have to do all of these. I just like to put a few on the outside just to kind of help hold it into place. It just kind of helps it a little bit. Okay, so now, and you could have done this before you did any of the holes. You could have poked it through like that. I mean, that's a step, like you could skip this part. Technically, it's just the way I like to do it. It's my personal preference. So I'll take the pokey tool again and poke all the way through. Make sure I am all the way through. I have holes all on the other side. If you can see, and there's one and there's one. Oh, this one got way off. But still, that's fine. You won't be able to see it when I'm done. You won't be able to tell at all. Okay, so I'm going to put the pokey tool back up. And now it is time for the sewing. And this is really simple. So we're going to start in the middle and work your way all the way through. If I could talk right. Okay, so I'm going to pull so I'm going in the middle, and then the very next one, I'm going to go in the very next one and come out. And pull all the way through. So I come out through this one and back into this one. And now I'm going to go back into the top one and come out. Need to give myself a little more string here. Okay. So we went in this one, go into the next one, come out through there, go into the top one, come in out of the top one, and go back into the very next hole. And be careful not to split through that one. You don't want to rip that one. So we're going to pull all the way through and keep it kind of tight. You don't have to pull it like crazy tight, but just a little bit. And we're going to skip this one and go into the next one. Pull it all the way through and go into the last one. Come all the way through. So we look like that. And we are going to go into the next one. Try not to go through that string. And now back into the middle. And now on this part, you want to make sure that you see this part right here is on this side of this long one where we had skipped it. So you want to come in on the opposite side of that one. So when you're pushing this one through, just be careful to not go through that string and come back up on the opposite side. So now you have one on either side of that middle piece there. I hope this makes sense. So now what you can do is take your needle off. And I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of this here. So now you want to tie it. And you want to tie it pretty good. I usually do 2 or 3 knots. And some people like to have these as danglies. You can put like charms or something on these. I usually just tie it up and then I cut them off. It's just my personal preference. Everyone has, you know, their own way of how they like to do things. So here is the journal and it's all sewn in. I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way. The fun part is coming up. This is like the best part I love the decorating and adding all of the embellishments and everything to the books. It's so fun. So this is what we have. So we have the front, this one here, this page, this page, this page. This is going to be a tag. I will show you how I do that. This one, piece of fabric, a couple of more pages. That was the envelope, music paper, and this one here that I'm going to make into like a little washi thing. So if you're out, you know, doctor's office and you're taking the journal and you want to do some decorating, then you can use your washi. And here was that envelope, which I can go ahead and glue this shut now if I want to. And this will not stay plain. I'll decorate this. And if you want to leave it plain, I mean, that is your choice. And this will become a little like pocket. I have glue all over me. And this will become a little pocket. That's the other part of the bag. Another little envelope. And this was that one page from the magazine. So there we go. And I'll show you really quick for the closure what I'm going to do. I will use one of these or one of these. I'm actually thinking the pink one, especially because I'm thinking I'm gonna make this more of like a Mother's Day type journal. So what I'm gonna do is put this through one end, if I can. I may need to use my scissors to push it through. So just kind of pop it through there. And I'm gonna guess about how much I want it to hold it closed. So if you wanted to, like, if you're not going to add too much to this and you know that, you don't want any, like, room to grow, you could just make it really short. For now, what I'm going to do, because I don't know how chunky this will end up being, so I'm just going to do kind of a loose tie, and I can adjust it later. And this is just going to be to kind of hold it for now. I'm not going to knot it. I'm just going to, you know, slightly tie it just enough to hold it on there. And that will be the closure for the journal. So let me see. We are almost at an hour, I believe. So I think what I will do is stop here, and I will finish making this, but I'm going to stop this video here so it can be in two parts. So the next part will be adding all the embellishments and decorating. We're going to decorate the front and put pockets and you know, all kinds of flowers and stuff, and I'll show you how I cover this up to where you can't even tell. Like you can see I was off like a lot. I'm not exactly on this line where it should be, but you will not be able to even see any of this whenever we're done decorating. Okay, so I hope that y'all enjoyed this. I've been excited to make this video. And so I'm going to end this here, and so I can continue on with the next part of the video. So, all right. Thank you guys. If y'all enjoyed this, please give me a like and leave me any comments of what you think about this so far. And I really hope that, you know, someone would like to join me in making this. And I would love to see, you know, like what y'all have made, or if y'all are even, you know, interested in this or not. So I guess that's it for now. I'm going to wrap it up here. So thank y'all so much for watching. Bye.